So welcome to Burn University. I get to start with you guys in the macro and kind of work into the funnel. That's what this whole week is about. We have an awesome mix, interesting mix in here, like some super OGs and like some super new people. And so that's exciting because we get to test our skills as we present this week into making sure that each one of our presentations fits inside of that context, right? So I'll kick it off with this. I'll give you a quick and dirty rundown for those that haven't heard it from my mouth before of kind of where Burn Bootcamp comes from. So we moved, Morgan and I moved up here because of her job in 2011. Well, she moved in 11 and I moved at the beginning of 12. And when we moved here, I knew I had some experience at Lifestyle Family Fitness, which is like a box gym down in Naples, Florida. And I knew that I wanted to be in this industry, but I also knew that I wanted to make some changes. And so I just jumped out on the ledge and said, I don't know what I'm going to do when I move to North Carolina, but I know that I'm going to start this fitness company called Burn Bootcamp. And that was about all I knew at the time. And flash forward to 2012, we go all the way around the city, like trying to knock on every door to get a lease, nothing. You know, when you're 24 and you don't have any financial history, I don't blame landlords now that I know what I know for not giving me a lease at the time, but it was a blessing in disguise. It helped us get scrappy. We opened 5 sublease locations in the area, we leased from leasors, and that was awesome because that was super cheap and it got us started quickly. So we're in 3 parking lots, 1 basketball gym, 2 gymnastic centers, and there was 5 or 6 total. One of them, actually, if you go out here to this road and you look down at Elevation Church down there, was an old abandoned dance theater. It was a movie theater, and then they subleased the movie theater that was abandoned into a dance studio, and then we subleased from the dance studio. Well, little did I know that that building, like, I was randomly flicking through TV one night, and that building is on AMC's most haunted places in America. Yeah. And I got my trainers up there. You know the dark, like, ominous hallways that, like, they're all cement and they're echoey, but that's where, like, you take a left and you go into the room and they flicker the thing, and that's the projection room. Well, yeah, I made my trainers walk up there every day and turn on a projector that said projected Burn Bootcamp, and I swear they kept coming back like, man, something about that place. I don't like going up there in the morning. I'm like, yeah, interesting. I don't. Until it was one of my the only person I knew when I moved here, by the way, Brett Baltatat was the guy that was training over there. So anyways, then that was Morgan's gym, and then that became Cornelius. We were in a parking lot gymnastics center over by the old studio, this place I was just at that you guys were not at. That was Huntersville. That was the very first gym. And so we combined Lake Norman and Huntersville and Cornelius. Boom, Lake Norman, that's upstairs. Then we still have our Denver gym, not Denver, Colorado, Denver, North Carolina. Mooresville, Pineville, and Matthews were like the original OG locations. There's 2 in North Charlotte, just north of here, these 3, and then the 2 in South Charlotte. So that was it. That was the beginning. And the next wave was Mike Hartshorn, who you guys know familiar. He's the owner of Concord and Harrisburg here in Charlotte. He was our first and second franchise partner. Him and a gal named Erin Studdard, who I know you know Erin Studdard pretty well, right? Yeah. So in her old location, the original old locations are all still open, and at that time I was like, what is going on? People want to like partner with me. It was crazy, and so from there we grew faster than 99% of franchise businesses that have entered the market since 2010, and almost all of them since like 2015 when we started. Well, I guess 99 and 100% is about the same. So all of them since we started, and there's only a few that have outpaced us. But we grew really fast, right? And that was a good thing. It was also a bad thing, right? Because we had 200 units in the first 18 months. There's a video of Jolene and I celebrating that. Well, we were all gas and no brake. And when we got to that moment in time, we hit the brake, and that's when we really started making the Burn operating system. It wasn't called that then. It was just called checklists, and it was called the ops manual. But the ops manual is a generic term that every franchisor is responsible for creating and then delivering that to their systems, okay? So the ops manual, we call ours the Burn operating system. And that is top to bottom, everything that you need to know. Okay, back in 2014, it was not tight as it could be, right? We had some really good stuff. We had the trainer checklist. We had just a few fundamental things that were helping us organize the gyms. Checklists basically for everything. It was just a series of checklists. You flash forward now we're a full enterprise operational infrastructure. Yeah, from the top to the bottom, from the newest resale, right, to the oldest OG location, everybody is on this Burn operating system, and that's what you guys should be super stoked to learn about this week, is just what the ins and outs of that thing are and how to apply it practically. Because the Burn operating system is not just some ideology, right? I'm out on the edge of the brand all the time, full time, along with a lot of our field support team, testing that thing, pressure testing the Burn operating system. We'll be in Las Vegas in January for regional training. I believe it's January, correct? So we'll be out there pressure testing it then. We'll be delivering it, but simultaneously we'll be making sure that, hey, what we're delivering is the highest and best use of what we could possibly be delivering. So I say that to say this, we're gonna constantly get better, constantly. Well, from 2012 to 2020, we were really building that operating system, right? And through being a very young organization, we had iterations of our FDD, okay, every single year. You guys have all signed the FDD, right? So you know what I'm talking about. Judy, you might have not. The FDD is Franchise Disclosure Document. That's the governing document that basically says, here's the relationship. I'll sign it here, and you sign it here, and we're good to go. Let's do this thing. Well, it's thick, right? There's 285 pages that'll put you to sleep, but it's also everything about the brand that you would need to know in order to get into it, right? So, and everything you need to execute. So from 15 to 16 to 17 to 18 to 19 to 20, it was pretty different every year. And then from 20 till now into the future, it's going to be very, very, very similar, right? And so there's been a lot of evolution, a quick evolution, as you guys can all attest to that have been open for a while. Quick evolution. Well, the Burn operating system is really the culmination of all that evolution. You kind of put it into a package, and then we refresh that package every quarter, subtly refresh that package every quarter. So from here on out, it's not like it's going to dramatically change, overnight, like sometimes it felt like, from, 2015 to 2017, our royalty structure completely changed, right? And now it's been pretty much the same since then. So you're at a really exciting time in the brand because everything is super solid, like from top to bottom, the Burn operating system, the education, the three things I talked about last night, the fitness product, the education model, and what makes us different is our Bleed Blue community. These things are better than they've ever been, and they're not near as good as they're going to get in the future as we continue to go travel in regional trainings, at Summit, in our Burn Learning portal, at our deployments, when I get out on the edge of the brand and do site visits. And so we trained over 2,000 people last year in our first year out of 5,000 in the organization, and we plan to make that even more because the regional trainings were so fire that I think the word is out now that hey, when a regional training pops up, you better get there because it's going to be like a mini Burn University and a mini Summit that just really gives your teams that next that edge for the next level. So you're going to learn all the stuff. Right? All the stuff is one half of it. The other side of it's the passion, right? Because we want to walk that line of culture and profit. It's very important to understand that that's a line, that's a tightrope, if you will. And underneath the tightrope, it's a mountain peak to a mountain peak, the goal where you're at to the goal where you want to be. And that tightrope, it's got winds blowing both ways, right? And if you're not careful enough and the profit wind blows too hard, you're going to fall off the culture side. And if the culture side blows too hard, you're going to fall off into the profit side and you don't have a business. So the two are one and the same. They're symbiotic, right? It's like if I make profit, I can build a culture, right? You can't do one without the other. Well, I guess you can build a profit without a culture, but that's not going to happen. Not in this business. You can do that in other businesses, but not here. You look around and you see the best organizations from a profit perspective. You walk in and you feel that right away, right? It's a wave of energy. When I walked into Ashburn in the DC area for our latest regional training, that was our latest one, right? Yeah, our latest regional training. I was going to be on the mic at 9. The 8 a.m. was going before we walked in like 7:40. 7:45, the energy from that camp the camps were already going 15 minutes before I even got there. Everybody's on the floor like, oh, and they're like high-fiving each other. The whole floor's bouncing. They're like an NFL football team getting ready to play Sundays. It was amazing, right? And the hype, you know it more than all of us, the hype that goes into that, right, in the tunnel when you're getting ready to go out and actually execute on something that you're nervous about, you're scared about. And so that's what I'm going to really talk to you about is the line of profit and that line of culture. And really, I think it starts and stops with the first thing. And this is the one thing that I like to teach that you're not going to learn in the Burn operating system, because it's very personal. It's not everyone's infrastructure, it's your infrastructure, right? Because the business, what you're going to learn, the Burn operating system, it has to exist for some reason. If it doesn't, if it has no reason to exist, well, there's no edge behind it, right? My primary aim is twofold, okay? And that's what I'm going to teach you guys. Write this down, primary aim. This is your personal reason. Your personal reason. You're going to have a VTO, a Vision Traction Organizer, that if you haven't filled one of those out in this organization, you're going to do that. That's going to be your vision for your company. But why does that thing exist? Like, why does that even exist in the first place? Why do you fill that VTO out? And that's going to be your primary aim, or what the business is made for. In my business, the enterprise, the Kline Franchising Inc., and all the 16 subsidiaries that are part of that company structure, that to me is Burn Bootcamp, right? And I take ownership in leading Burn Bootcamp, and it's our company. But like when Morgan and I are talking and we're like discussing like what is the primary aim, it's our company, right? And our company has to exist for something, and that something is twofold: to leave a legacy for our children, which has a whole definition underneath it, meaning that there's no chance in hell that my kids are ever experiencing what I experienced growing up. And I won't go into my story, but if you know it, you know how motivating it might be to say my children are never even going to smell or sniff that experience. So that's very important to me. The other side is I want to buy a baseball team when I'm 55, right? And like, you guys got to say these things, because if you don't, then what the hell is the business for? What the hell is your career for? What's your job for? It's like selfish to say that you want to buy something for yourself. Yeah, it is. You know why bees land on honey? To eat. You got to eat, right? And so this is my one thing this week that I really want you guys to understand. Like, this is the center of it all, right? The business has to exist for something, and that something has to be motivating. It's to be motivating to you as an individual. Because one thing I've learned running the company is it starts and stops with my ability to be positive, optimistic, to work hard, to innovate, to be strategic. Because if I stop doing those things, the company stops doing those things. And I've had enough time, maybe stop doing them for a couple months or so, and you can see how things tend to get stagnant if the person that's leading the company, okay, doesn't continue to stay sharp, stay focused, have the edge. A good sign if you're running your business the right way is it's going to be really, really hard. It's going to be really hard at the beginning. And a good sign that you're reaching your primary aim is if it's becoming easier over time. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, don't get me wrong. It's really hard for the first few years. You get to the point where you're past year 3, year 4, year 5, and you should be either A, have already reached your primary aim and reached the goals for your organization, which I know most of us in here are thinking well beyond 5 years or 3 years, okay? And then what's next? And constantly staying hungry. So it's important to have these things down, because it gives you, it's like your radar, right? Like, it's like, you know where you're going in the future, and like if you're the heat-seeking missile, like you have to be locked onto your radar somewhere. And when that radar, when that target starts to move and manipulate as it will through time, you need to be able to stay locked onto that thing so you can move and manipulate toward it. Because one thing I do know is it's not linear. You're not going to go from point A to point B. You're going to go from like point A to B to C to C, and then you're going to go backwards to E, and then you're going to go way forward to G, and then you're going to go backwards to S, and then all of a sudden you're going to end up at Z over here. And A to Z might end up being exactly what you planned, but the pathway to get there is not even anywhere close ever, right? So you have to stay agile, and one way to stay agile and stay focused and locked in is that primary aim. So take 30 seconds, take 2 minutes. Let's take 2 minutes total. I want you guys to just write that now. Give yourselves 2 minutes on the clock. I'll time you here. And think about a primary aim. And I'll give you a few prompts as you go through this. And I have some on my phone for this that are really good. But a primary aim answers the question, what the hell is the business for? Why does it even exist? And if you do want to leave a legacy, if that's part of it, if leaving the world a better place than when you found it, tell me how. It's not good enough just to be vague and general. This has to be a SMART goal. Like the moment you're my daughter realizes like what actually was my life was like, and then realizes in the same moment, how different hers is, and breaks down and cries because she realizes how great of a dad I am, right? Like that is a story for me that I look forward to when she's like 32 and mature enough to understand all that stuff. All right, so hopefully earlier if I'm a good parent. We'll see. All right, so this is the Burn operating system. I just wanted you guys to get your eyes on it. You're going to see this all week long as the team is breaking you all down, okay? My job in this whole pie is this one right here. Okay, this is my sole job. Morgan and I, but mostly me. I'm the visionary, right? Right? I'm the leader of the company. But guess what? You are the leader of your company. You are the visionary of your Burn operating system, and you also need to set that vision for the company. That's called the Vision Traction Organizer. Okay, who's done a VTO, just so I know? Okay, perfect. A VTO is so important. On December 15th, mark your calendars, December 15th. Morgan and I will be going live on our Burn Owners Forum, and we will be breaking down the company's VTO. So everything that we do at this office and at our West Coast HQ, there's now almost 300 of us at HQ if you counted all of our gyms. And so, you know, we're running this the same way you all are, right? There's a cadence to it. I'm not going to go over that cadence. The field support team, your FBCs, know this cadence really, really well. And it's called the meeting pulse. And you guys are going to all institute the meeting pulse so that everything we teach you has a structure. It's an operational infrastructure. If you don't have the operational infrastructure, then you're just going to be playing guess who? Marco Polo, right? And you're going to play Marco Polo on your way to mediocrity, because that's where that will definitely lead. And it starts and stops with your vision. So have a vision. Okay, notice it says, what's it say up there right under vision? Shared by who? Shared by who? Okay, if you don't even have your vision, how is all supposed to share your vision? Becky's all know the vision. All, everyone. Boom. Okay? 100% certainty. Okay, when you have a VTO and it's shared by all, just like I'm going to share it on December 15th and share it with everyone, then I'm going to go around for that next year, and every time I see my team, I'm going to share with them that same vision. Again and again and again and again and again and again. How many more times? And again and again and again and again and all the way to the next time. And then I'm going to get an updated VTO, and I'm going to go and I'm going to say it's probably the same thing if you're doing it right with a small upgrade or a small tweak year over year. A few primary tweaks based on how the past year went, and then you say the same thing again and again and again. The great thing as a visionary is it's so easy. It's so easy. You do the VTO, and the things that make it on the VTO are shared by all, and then you just remind those people of. It's like in a sense, you have to be like, you don't even have to play an instrument to be a part of the band. You just get to be the orchestrator. And drums and flutes, high top flutes, and boom, 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 boom. Here, go together now, hey, right? And we get to be the orchestrators of the whole band. We don't have to. We're not playing the instruments. Okay, these are all the instruments. These are now some of you are rookie orchestrators, and you need to still play in your band. But the goal is to not play in the band, because you don't just want to buy a job if you're a franchise partner, do you? You don't want to buy a job. What's the point of that? You're partnering. You're paying for the brand, the operating system, the infrastructure, the support, the brand value, the brand book, the marketing promos, the checklist, the blue carpet experience, the team, everything, right? So at the end of the day, this vision that's shared by all has all the tools to land, right? And so business is a good sign that you're doing well is that it gets easier over a 3 to 5 year period. The first 3 years shouldn't be that easy. And you do that by having a vision that's shared by all constantly, and then obviously executing underneath that, right? And following through. And that's part of integrity, which is our core value, is I have a vision, and then we actually follow through on that vision, or at least give it hell in terms of your effort. And then the last part about vision is never judge your team or judge yourself for your effort. Right? Don't judge yourself for your effort. If you're sitting here, you've never done a VTO before, that's okay. It's not going to be okay after today, but it's okay up until today. Right? We don't need to judge ourselves for trying really hard, and I don't want you to judge yourself for not having some of the things that we talk about, because I also want you to know that this is fully baked as of 2 years ago. And I don't even think y'all have been back since 2000 and, I don't know, it was like 3 years ago at the old HQ, because you've been out there hustling, grinding. Like, I don't expect, this is the time to work on the business. This is the time where you come get the vision, take these hotel moments. Like, I know when I go to conferences or workshops, I'll sit in the I'm like not even sleeping, to be honest. When I'm at those things, I'm so fired up after the day. Probably shouldn't take Ignite at 8 p.m., but you do that real quick, and then you just bust out all of your top 10s for the days, right? And you have these really clearly defined like top 10s. That's the way I like to do it. Y'all can do it whatever way that works for you, but my point is you have that time here while you're here, away from your children mostly, like for those of you who are parents, to just spend those evenings for yourself, baking that vision, and really collaborating with yourself and people that are responsible for helping you with that vision. Okay, and when you do that, it kind of takes you from like two kids like not knowing what they're doing over time, where business is not necessarily much easier in terms of work ethic, but it is much easier in terms of certainty. Like this person was like, oh. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? This person's like, I got this. I'll put this on my back if I have to, and we'll go to the moon. And then all 62 of us here at HQ and all 300 at both coasts feel the same way. Like they're bought in. We're all bought in, and we all can see that vision. So this is my primary aim picture. I didn't have it back then. So it's wise to get it now. And then you see, this is just a quick snapshot for you guys. That's Burn University, or that's summit number 1 versus summit number, what'd I say? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go on this side. That's butt cheek 1, and this is butt cheek 2. What do you think? You guys, just a snapshot, right? It's just to inspire you, to show you growth, right? To show you growth and to show, hey, we go from 60 people, all hands on deck. This was all hands on deck on this side over here. This is like 1/4 of the system. This one here, Wilmington. Wilmington, North Carolina. Naples was number 2. Chicago was number 2. Naples was number 3. Or Naples was 2. Chicago was 3. You're right. Yeah, that was expensive in Chicago. Oh. I looked at our post-formal like, uh-oh, well, there's always next year. Yeah. Old Afterburn, old Burn Nutrition, right? First logos. When we just get scrappy and we make it happen, make it on Microsoft Word. We don't have any graphic designers. We're just letting it ride. Screenshot, JPEG, send it through. Versus Emily Garrett's designs and photography all coming together to create such an amazing product, right? So growth, it grows. Let it grow. Let it grow. That's my whole point of showing you all this, is where you're at today is not where you're going to be tomorrow. Journey to today, that's the parking lot. That's my gangster car. I used to sell drugs out of the back of that car. No, I'm kidding. It was actually T-shirts, not drugs. I sold T-shirts. That was my first car I got. It was my signing bonus for my baseball deal at the Giants, and then slapped a big Burn logo on it. And then we did so well that in the second picture, I can't drive that thing around town, because if I stop by like Chick-fil-A or something, I get yelled at. So there's some people in the picture to the left that are still here today in the right, which is really cool. You have that's the first parking lot gym. That's Morgan's Cornelius gym I told you about, and that's Melissa Price's gym in Mallard Creek on the right-hand side there. Just the difference, right? The growth. Those are the shirts that I used to slang out of the trunk, and now look at our retail. Progress growth. First website, newest website. First Burn You season, season 50. January 15 to October 2022. Okay? I mean, from a system-wide perspective. Do you guys care about system-wide? Yes, you do. Is it something that you're going to be like concerned with and lose sleep over at night? No, you're not. But you want to see that trend line go up, because if we stay here, guess whose revenue makes up that money? Guess whose revenue makes this up? All of yours. Right? So you want to see this grow, because you know, what do you think happened right there? There, COVID, right? We're probably supposed to be up here, but guess what? Supposed to be Supposed to be is not in the plans. Here's our executive leadership team, okay? There's 9 people there that lead the team. And then I am the visionary, and I do not have any direct roles at this point. Morgan is the leader of those other 8 people. We are also hiring right now a COO. We're bringing a COO in with some criteria that you have to have more than 2,000 come from a franchise location with more than 2,000 under your operation. So that is my one criteria, because the one thing we're missing at this office, we have all of the smarts, we have all of the talent, we have all of the youth and energy, we have all of the teamwork and chemistry. We need one high-level person to come here to help us not make mistakes as we get to the next level. Somebody that's already been down that road before in a seat where they've had to make these decisions in the past to really help me and to really help Morgan, and then ultimately our team really navigate the future as we go from 515 awarded territories in the United States to sell out over the next 36 to 5 years. Okay, we will sell out. When I say sell out, I mean we'll get to the point where there's no more burn boot camp territories left because we refuse to break our geographic model in terms of our economic model, right? Which has worked out really well for us so far. Okay, any questions on I just ran through the history there real quick. My point was to zoom you out just a touch so you can start from here, and then now you're down kind of looking in to say, I know where we've been, I know where we are, okay? I know where we're going to go, and I need a primary aim that's going to drive where we're going, okay? That was the point of that little 10, 15, 20-minute spiel there. Are you guys good? Any questions? Okay. What's this mean, Becky? 5-pillar philosophy, challenging workouts. Tell me the definition of that and why. Why is this number one in our philosophy?
The product is fitness, right? But it has to constantly be varied and challenging so that people are constantly doing the hardest things that they've ever done every single time.
And when they do the hardest things they've done day in, day out, what's created inside of that person? Confidence. So challenging workouts equals confidence. The number one mistake you can make is try to make everybody like you. And when you try to make everybody like you, you go real soft on them. Nobody wants anybody to coddle them nowadays. Like, they're sick of it. Especially people that are showing up, paying a membership, leaving their house, driving to the gym, wrangling 4 kids and putting them into the car, driving to the gym most often. Getting there on like 2 or 3 wheels, pulling in 2 minutes late, walking under that sign, we're running, that scares them, being like, oh shoot, here we go. And then they go upstairs, and then they voluntarily step on the floor, and they voluntarily move. After they voluntarily start moving, then they have no choice, right? Then now you're under my wrath. But you've done all of those things. Why would I not deliver on you? Why would I not deliver for you better than anybody else could deliver for you? Because I know you come here for fitness and weight loss, and I know you come here for body fat loss and to get a toned 6-pack and some we've done the surveys. We know what people's psychology is coming in. That's what they think they want. Oh, so we're going to give that to you, for sure. But then you're going to get hit in the face with this big community that's just like, whoa, I don't know what it is about this place, but I've never liked a workout before, and now I'm 3 years in and I'm obsessed. This is like the common thread with our members. Why? Challenging workouts. In Bountiful, I was just out there in Utah. We were doing I did 6 different gyms out there. We have 8 total, and we're anchored in Layton, which is north, and St. George, which is south, by franchise partners. But we have like most of Utah County. And I went out there, and when I went out there, we did all 5 at one time. We had Orem. Next to our Bountiful gym, which is in between Layton and Bountiful. It's the only F45 there, went out of business 5 months after we opened. Because we didn't just show up to compete, we showed up to dominate. And we didn't go, hey, F45 people, we want to come and try burn? We just said, we're burn people, right? And they just saw that. We didn't have to tell them that. And then they came over, and when they did, they went back to their buddies over there, and they just said, come on over. And to the point where we siphoned out 50, 60 of their members that joined Bountiful, and it's game over. So I'm not saying that's the point, because the point is to as the tide rises, all boats rise. I'm not saying we are targeting putting out other businesses out, but the reality is when you are a restaurant and you have a steak and the other restaurant next to you has a steak, okay, the steak being better is just not going to do it. But when the steak and the service and the lighting and the atmosphere and the ambiance and the note on the table and all the other things that come along with that premium steak happen, nobody even looks at the one next door. And that's not anything to do with them. They need to get a better steak. They need to get better service. Has nothing to do with them. But also makes me slightly happy on the inside knowing that when we execute, things like that around in our markets happen. Focus mindset. What's that mean? Where do you see where do you see these three things right here? What feature of the gym are these three things? Mindset, education, goal setting. What is it? Okay, be honest with me, all of you. Raise your hand if you keep track of your focus meetings right now. Raise your hand if you keep track and you report on them and there's useful information that comes out of it. How could we not track the three-fifths of the 5-pillar philosophy? Think about that. This is the fun. These words right here make us us. How could we leave out? How could we get to a point where we're not doing that? That's just a question for you, because I've been to that point too.
I've been trying to figure out reporting on that, and I'm having a hard time.
Okay. Noted. Okay, these three things. One of the biggest gaps that I see, the biggest gap I see right now in the organization is focus meetings, number one, because that's going to drive retention, and retention is very important. Although you're not going to retain 100%, it's better to retain 90% than 76%. And you do that by creating emotional bonds and connections. There is 3 focus meetings. What are they? Go. There's 3 sandboxes that I call them. They're templates, but they all have a name. What are they called? Break the pattern. Okay. Build the plan. And deep dive. You should know those as a franchise partner like the back of your hand, inside and out. Okay, like I said, don't judge yourself if you're here now and you don't. That's the point of this. Yeah, it is break the pattern is the first one. Build the plan is the second one. And deep dive is the third one. Each one of those are in the trainer manual, which is in the ops manual, which is the burn operating system. Everything that I talk about or reference will be inside of the operating system. So focus meetings, so important. And then the last one, we all said this simultaneously last night, and I think this is just the obvious one, is the empowering community. And it's obvious because we've made it's been on purpose and with intention. And it threads. Somebody give me a way that community threads through every little element of the brand. High fives. What else? Community. 2 claps on 2. What else? Makes sense? Say yes. Names. What else? Come on, keep going. It's everywhere. Burn gear. Free child watch. Nutrition. What else? Philanthropy. Right? What do we do? What does every location do outside of the gym at least one time every month? Community outings. I mean, I could keep going down to the point where you're like, wow, man, you got it really. You really thought about that to put community down into like the lowest thread. I need to come up with an example next time because that means nothing without an example. But I'll think about one before the end of this today. Yeah, take notes on that. I will come with an example. Summit, our panels. I mean, everything. We could just keep going. Head trainers of the year, running workouts, coming on the podcast. Like, we just keep going. We could go for days. Now I'm going to think of 30 examples. Okay. But these 5 things are so important, okay? It's like we cannot overlook the foundational philosophy, okay, the 5-pillar philosophy. Challenging workouts. Make people work out harder than they ever have before every day. Make them, here's a good quote for that one. Just kind of like deliver it to your teams. Here's some language. That's part of my job is to give you language to deliver it to your teams. Is make somebody do something they've never done before today. And then have them ask that question at the end of camp. Who's somebody who did something they haven't done before today? Confidence, boom, right there. There's a measured engagement. Something they haven't done before today. And when you do that, and you execute on this and keep this top of mind, you're set up for success. I said one thing. What's the one fundamental mistake you can make with the 5-pillar philosophy that will actually cause results to be negative? What is it? It's not a trick question. The fitness product, right? The fitness product. Number one, challenging workouts. Our core focus. This is our mission statement. This is on all of your walls. I do not need to read it to you. This is why you are here. If you are not here if you're not here because of something in that mission statement, then it probably won't last that long. Just because your core values aren't aligned with the core values of the organization. And so this is not really, I don't really say that for you guys. I really say that so that you can identify that with your teams. Like, there's not a single person here at HQ that we ask to do something or that we don't even ask to do something, and they just do it because they know it needs to be done, and it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. They know that our core focus, franchise partners, that second one, that's for us. That's for us at HQ. That's a franchise partner first ecosystem building simple, profitable, and scalable business. Franchise partner first is a term that you're going to see in the advent of our new app that is rolling out in 2023. I'll step on stage at 2023 and I'll have an app in my hand, and that will be the future franchise partner first revenue model, where omni-channel means digital, physical, and every other point of sale. So omni-channel is like a full blanket coverage, okay, across all points of sale, except for points of sale that are not even near anyone. All of the eligible points of sale are going to be your revenue. And that's the biggest change or evolution in our app, is that we're gonna now be able to, you're gonna have location stores, you're gonna have performance scores for retention, activity streaks. Like, you think about Whoop. Who knows Whoop? Have you ever seen the Whoop one? You think about Whoop, and then you think about like Facebook groups and that whole little pocket of Facebook, and then you think about our on-demand stuff that's going on right now in the studio, and you combine those things together. You layer in your own e-com stores with auto ship. Now, that's a lot right there, but just these things are coming over the next couple years, and it will start in Summit 2023, where you'll pull out the same app that you always use, and you'll pull it up, and it'll be a completely different interface and user experience and features and all that. So this franchise partner first focus started in our core focus, and now that's the name of our new revenue model, royalty model going forward, right? So who's, just for an example, you like sell a t-shirt online, okay? Well, now you'll be able to sell a t-shirt online. If you have it in gym, sell it in gym. If not, online right there at point of sale, and it's just the same thing as if you sold it in the gym. And we hold the inventory, and we'll do that for you. So that's coming along together, a 1-2 punch, a Burn Bootcamp app with a reporting. It's called FP. It's FP revenue model and FP intelligence model. And intelligence model will be on the back of Domo, so that when those real-time things happen and you log a sale, you can see it right away. You don't have to worry about what MindBody's talking to Domo and how Domo is having a bad day. And, you know, MindBody took Sunday off, so, you know, now all of a sudden we're not getting our reports for 36 days later. But the mission, my point of just introducing that a little bit is because you'll hear me talk a lot about that, especially December 15th. So tune in if you want to know more. But the core focus for us, our franchise partners, is building your revenue. Like we had said, we're going to the moon, 10,000 locations. Okay, that's a great, in the VTO, the Vision Traction Organization, that's our 10-year goal. Our 3-year goal is world-class unit economics. And unit economics are your bottom line, your profit, right? The profit that you take at home. I'll call it ULEs for short. ULEs, unit level economics. And when you have world-class unit level economics, I know you're going to reinvest. I've talked to each and every one of you. I just have not talked to you guys yet because you're just getting started. But I've talked to most everyone else in the organization, not even you guys, of your ambition. And I know it takes money to grow. So what we're going to do is we're going to funnel all of the revenue into your hands as much as possible so that we can help business become more simple, profitable, and scalable. We don't have technology in our gyms per se outside of mind, body, and some simple baseline industry like standard point of sale stuff. Our technology is not going to be on the back of rendering our trainers useless by putting screens on the walls and having a uniform program that goes out every day. We're going to trust our people at the unit level to look in the back end of a portal and a protocol. And we're going to trust our franchise partners to oversee that, knowing that our fitness product is the most important, and trust you that you're going to be the one to help us scale that when no one else thinks that we can scale that. Why do you think TV screens are on all of our competitors' walls? Why? They don't trust people. It's easy because they don't trust people, so it's really freaking hard to build trust. So it becomes easier to do it that way. It's cheaper. But we're people first. We're community first. And we're going to show our industry, the franchise industry, what a fitness company at scale should look like. And then yours at the member level, ours at the member level, is inspire, empower, and transform lives through community-based fitness. Everything that we do is through that lens. The days of me chasing the shiny stuff, it's gone. It's long gone. Everything now is, we said this in Chicago Summit, innovate within the core. You remember that? Hey guys, we're going to innovate, but we've been innovating outside of the core of who we are. We did a glow body, we did a spray tanning business. We let some kids do some birthday parties on the weekend. It was terrible. It didn't work at all. It didn't work. We did stretching. It didn't work. Now we're going to be the best in the world at community-based fitness. That's it. And how we're going to do that is through our 4 core values. And I'll just have them up here so that you guys can read them. How much time do I have? I'm going to be really
30.
less than 30?
Yeah.
No, what is your time like that you got to go so I can go? Because I can.
You have until 9:30, so you're good.
Okay, 25 minutes? Okay. How am I doing? You guys follow me? Yep. Okay, so these are our core values. This isn't like bullshit. Like, this isn't, we're like putting stickers on the computers and being like, look at our core values. We just had a big people meeting. We had a big people meeting in here. Anybody in this at HQ that runs a team was in here, and it was an awesome little hour-and-a-half session because we just went around and we said all the things that we loved about this organization, right? And all the things we didn't. It was an open conversation, and there were some things. There's definitely some things we have to work on, but the things that I thought were amazing that like you can't say many other companies are getting right all the time is core values. That you know it's not the same everywhere else as it is here. And I don't say that because I'm a biased person trying to convince you of that. It's not my job to convince you. It's my job to believe what I'm saying. And if you believe me, then great. If you don't, then, oh well. I believe me. I believe me. And what I really believe is that these core values are just so deep into our brand. And this is the definition of what makes our community a community. If you just took away the challenging workout and said, okay, I know that's like the common suffering that everybody like, is like, that's what they're bond over, like showing up, Becky kicking my butt, me like talking like crap to like you about Becky, and I'm like, Becky's like on one today. She's crazy, my arms are like killing me, like my legs can't move. I'm like, I have nothing left, like screw her, okay? You wanna go get a mimosa? It's like, you know, like that's the common bond that we build by that challenging workout that creates, that's what I mean by bond by suffering, yeah. By the way, like psychologically, there is no better way to build a relationship with another human being than to go through suffering together. People first, okay? People first. Doesn't mean everyone gets everything they want all the time for free. It means that people first means everybody on the team believes in the core values. Everybody on the team has the same attitude, the same effort, the same beliefs. The 3 things that we can control are attitude, effort, and beliefs. And when we do that, through the lens of people first, we get to learn all the goals and the dreams of all the people around us. So it's not that you just, hey, I want to take time off, like you can give it to me. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everybody's goals, ambitions, and dreams on your team are the vehicle, the catalyst to the business getting its results. Not the other way around. We don't hire people and say, hey, you have some skills. why don't you come on my team so you can help me reach my goals with your skills? It's, hey, I see your skill. What's your vision? Why are you here? Why this job? Why burn? Okay. Company's got to go somewhere, but I need somebody with that motivation to help drive it. So by me helping somebody get to their vision, I'm going to help the company get to its vision. Okay? And we got to always remember that this is my philosophy, and I'm going to get better at this in 2023 for sure. But my philosophy is hire fast, fire faster, promote fastest. I got some room to work on that, especially the last one, because that's new for me. But hire fast, fire faster, promote fastest. And a lot of people leave the last one off because they see somebody doing a really good job and might take it for granted and maybe even not even tell that person they're doing a good job, which is a big mistake, right? Or appreciate them with passion, excitement, but just let them continue to go. You know, people need to know. I even need to know. I need people to tell me, like, gauge me. Where am I at? How am I doing? What's my, I told you my vision last year and you haven't said anything to me about it since. I got to get better at that because I'm very good with knowing everybody's vision and pretty good at following up with like the gaps and from where they are to where they need to be. But then that next follow-up, I got to get better at that. So we all got work to do. But that's what people first is, okay? Okay, and we're committed to investing in the future of individuals. We grow the company that way. The company doesn't exist to reach its goals. The company exists to help the people that run the company reach their goals, right? And that's kind of a nod back to primary aim. If you think about that parallel, that's like the company's purpose is to put people's vision in front of the company, and your purpose is to put, at the soul level, is to put your vision in front of the company. So integrity, this means our intent is pure. Okay? Does it mean that we're going to make the right decisions all the time? No, but it means that our core focus, franchise partner first model, that's so pure to us. Like it's such a no-brainer. It's so obvious. And there's been a few times, where you get in decisions and you don't necessarily, aim high and you can't see, out the windshield because there's too much fog, and you make a decision that's bad, and you switch the wrong lane, you bump somebody's car, and it's like, made that mistake. That's okay. That's going to happen. But the idea is to ensure that there's pure intention behind all the decisions that you make, and that there's a layer of humility that if you do make a mistake, that you're able to admit that mistake and roll it back. There's nothing more powerful as a leader or that will gain you more influence than if you make a fundamental error and then you say, hey, everyone, I just made an error. That's on me. I apologize that you had to be the front lines of that and deal with that. But thank you for dealing with that, because that lets me know you got my back and I'll always have your back. I'll try not to make mistakes again. I can't make any promises, but I'll promise you that I'll always have a pure intent not to. And if I do make a mistake, and when I do, and it's the wrong decision, I will roll it back. And you can always count on me to do that. We did that with live streams. Who remembers live streams? Tell us what happened, Kayla.
HQ pivoted, and live streams were going great for COVID times. And then, obviously, when things are going good, we wanted to try to profit off them. And HQ is going to start charging for live streams. And then us franchise partners were like, hey, hold up. What about our members who are into the live streams right now, and they're going to go pay, I don't remember what the cost was, $30, $40 a month to you. What if they cancel their memberships with us? So that was challenging for us. And then we communicated that to HQ, and they pulled it back.
Mm-hmm. And they communicated it. Really, really, which is great. And most 99% of it was super respectful and great and awesome. And just so, yeah, and we made the decision. The intent was pure, is to get you guys more revenue. We lopped a 20% partner reward share on that. So but it wasn't the right decision because it wasn't the decision that we collectively believed in, right? If you're a football coach, Ronaldo, and the line is you're geared up on this couple plays on 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, 3rd and short, and you got a few plays and those plays aren't getting called, right? And they start getting first downs. What are you gonna do? Come on, coach. You're gonna give some fire back to the coach. We got a job to do, and you're taking the ball out of my hands here. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think it's a good thing because now look and see, you guys are going to see some technology that we have that we've been building and spent a lot of time and money and effort on building. And it's going to not only be a franchise partner first model, but what I think it's going to do will be a revolutionary royalty model in general for franchising because it's so good for franchisees. We're the only company that's family owned, meaning when I say family owned, there's people in this building that own this company, and if I have it my way, by the end of 2024, every damn person in this company at HQ is going to own a little chunk of the company. And it's not there yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there over time. And that's really important to me. And now we'll roll out live streams in 2023, end of 2023, and your technology will give you digital serviceable market areas that are synonymous with your physical serviceable market areas, which is why we spent 2 years working on a program called SiteZeus, an artificial intelligence-based real estate management platform. And now you're going to basically, we're going to funnel anybody that, when we do roll out the live stream, anybody, and we're going to roll it out paid, anybody that buys it, right? We call it magic IDs. We can't question on this today, but listen to December 15th and you can hear it. Magic IDs are going to funnel all that revenue in your serviceable market area right to you, right? And if anybody comes into that area and then goes out of that area and they don't go to another gym, you keep that revenue. So like somebody could come to your gym and like come to West Chase and then move to Alaska, and like that's still your member in Alaska. Unless they were to go to the Anchorage gym that opened or something like that, then you would do a transfer. But there's like some really cool, slick stuff that's coming. I don't want to overwhelm you this week at Burn University, okay? But I also want to give you a little insight into the vision to say that, hey, we're working on things to make profitability, scalability, and ease of business and those world-class unit-level economics I'm talking about even better. Even better. I mean, think about the one feature of putting your members' nutrition on auto ship. They get 10% off, they just get auto ship. We're building EFTs, electronic funds transfers. We got to get our electronic funds transfers up to about 60 to 70,000, and that's reoccurring revenue per unit. And when we're there, we're world class. That's it. And we're not that far. We're high 30s, low 40s sometimes. Really good months. We've been there before, but for like a singular month, not at a steady state. So those are the first two. And I like to explain these. I don't like to just put this up here because this is core values in action. Right? I like to give you examples of how these things have actually come forward so that you can tell the same story in your head of how these, when I talk about these core values at the unit level, this is almost like a little core values speech for you that you can remember and that you can present these to your team in your team meeting. And they're bite-sized enough for you to be able to do that. Pride and results, that just means, hey, those people that we know their vision, we heard their vision, we're going to go get that vision. We're going to be pretty relentless. And in order to do so, we have to collaborate in person. We have to have relentless work ethic. We have to have innovation and creativity oozing out of our pores. We have to be able to collectively say that the mission itself is the long-term game. Any short-term personal things that I have that are above that line of critical, all right, I sacrifice those things for the long-term vision. Below the line of critical, that's what people first means too. Hey, below the line of critical, we need to sit down. You need to go take 3 days off. We can get this right, come back on fire, okay? Open-minded, I think, is the biggest part about this sentence. You see the last one. We're humble, agile, and open-minded as we listen to the organization and garner feedback. We believe that the answers are found in the field. That's at your gyms, talking to your members. We truly believe that the answers are there. And open-minded, right? Market calls come to mind. We do market calls for this reason. Pride and results. We want to hear from you at scale, so we do market calls. We'll be continuing to do those in 2023 and beyond. And that's basically we're getting with like half of a market if it's too big or an entire market if it's just the right size. And we are going to sit down and have an open and honest conversation about, just like I did with the people meeting at HQ, of what's working, what's not working. What are we excelling at? What do we need to start doing? What do we need to stop doing? What's in alignment with the core values? What isn't? And then authenticity means we're always going to remain true to the soul of the brand. I mean, like, you're not going to switch it up once you get success. You don't switch it up and, start wanting to put disco lights and create Burn Bootcamp / Club Burn. Somebody came in here as a director of marketing and said, hey, we need 2 concepts. We need one called Burn Bootcamp and one called Burn Blue that goes in the inner city. And I said, get out. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say get out. I just said that was not the appropriate response. But that was what I was thinking in my head, for sure. And I think my response was like, tell me more. That seems like an interesting idea. I'd love to explore that. And we explored that, and that's not authentic to us, right? They were trying to do like a, hey, uptown, hot girl vibe. I'm like, no, I'm good. We did one promo recently that I didn't like too much it was Hot Girl Summer, something like that, like 2 years ago when we were just trying everything. We just tried everything. Yeah, and it said Hot Girl Summer, and I was like, oh gosh. I get this maybe in like the coastal location during spring break or something like that for like 2 weeks, but yeah, that was not authentic. That was not to the soul of our brand. And so again, going back to integrity. Made a mistake, rolled it back, didn't work, good, kill it. And we've been striving to do this ever since, to just stay focused. Really, authenticity is meaning staying focused on who we are and what we do best. And all 4 of these roll back into that core focus of inspiring, empowering, and transforming. 2 claps on 2, 1, 2. Thank you guys for your time. Enjoy the rest of the week.